Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 7 of What If Naruto Had Cosmic Energy. And also guys, I posted new series yesterday over on Anime King and Anime King 2. On Anime King I posted a brand new series of What If Naruto Was an Elite Blue Eye Uchiha, so go ahead and check out that and enjoy guys. And over on Anime King 2, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Had the Rarest Bloodline, so go ahead and check out that and enjoy as well. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, go ahead and share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and comment down below and tell me if you're new. And remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, and yeah. So without further ado, I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and if you're not, let me try and make it a little bit better. So yeah, without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Start the intro. So the last time we left off, months had passed since Team 7 became a team, as both Hinata and Sasuke were firing off C-rank ninjutsu. Hinata with her water affinity and Sasuke with his fire affinity. As Naruto has threatened Kakashi to teach them well, because, well, he ended up shrinking Kakashi's house more and more until Kakashi finally decided to take his job as a sensei serious, which he did. Naruto was far above them. So, he just made Kakashi train them alone, so he could focus on them to make them stronger, as the both of them had improved a lot. As they were called towards the Hokage's tower, making their way there, they came upon Team 8, as Kurenai checked over Hinata to ask her if she was alright, as she was fine, as Kurenai still didn't like Naruto that much. Well, she didn't hate him, but she is known as the Ice Princess of Konoha, the Ice Queen, and known to hate perverts, and especially the way he acted. That makes she didn't like him very much, but she saw how much he cared for Hinata and treated her like a little sister, so she didn't have a problem with him. So, Sarutobi had called him, as it was time for Team 7 for a C-rank mission, seeing that they have shown the skills necessary to defeat all D-rank missions they came across. So Sarutobi is gonna give them a C-rank mission. So with that, the next day they got themselves ready as they headed out, making their way towards the land of Wave with Tazuna. As Naruto could tell that the man was hiding something, could feel the nervousness from the man. So with that out of the way, they made their way as Naruto saw the puddle. As he went underground, the demon brothers didn't have time to escape as Naruto electrocuted them. As the both of them came out of the water, they then turned towards Tazuna. As he explained, they decided to still take the mission as they headed off, after Kakashi sent Pakon back to Konoha to inform the Hokage. So with that out of the way, they made their way. As Naruto knew that something was coming, he felt something wrong around here. Hinata activated her Byakugan as she told him to duck, as that sword swung over there and embedded into the tree. As Zabuza landed, Naruto was pissed off. The reason is, Naruto and Jiraiya were hired to protect the daimyo's wife for a faraway land. The daimyo, seeing that Naruto was just a young kid, told Jiraiya to accompany him, that he would be fine. As Jiraiya went with Naruto, when they came back, everyone was dead. It was Zabuza, as he had came there and slaughtered all of them. He was paid to do his job. And they later found out that it was the brother who wanted to take over, and his father giving the, well, role to his sister really pissed him off, as Naruto swore to make Zabuza pay for this. But Kakashi took the lead as he faced off against Zabuza. The battle was intense, but Kakashi got captured in a water spear. As Naruto brought out 3 swords, he placed one in his mouth and the other 2 in his arm. He attacked Zabuza wickedly. He was moving like a blur. Given his advanced abilities, being able to shrink things, Naruto was able to move through Zabuza's guard, surprising him as he sliced into Zabuza. Kakashi, who was now free, entered the fray. The both of them teaming up obliterated him, as Naruto was about to end him. But something slammed into the ground, the explosive tag on a kunai, as Kakashi created a mud wall to block it, as someone took Zabuza and headed off a hunter named. As Kakashi had stopped Naruto from going after them, not knowing if there was a trap set up ahead, Hinata with her Byakugan activated saw something within Naruto that scared her a bit. So yeah guys, those basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across to the place and check out for yourself. So this begin this new episode. Drip, drip, drip. Pipes in the ceiling was dripping as Naruto made his way down the corridor until he turned and entered a large open area. As he stood there, two large red eyes slowly opened behind the bars. It was none other than the nine-tailed fox as it looked at Naruto. As Naruto remembered the first time when he met the fox and their little agreement. Flashback. As 7-year-old Naruto woke up, as he glanced around, he has been trying it for the longest time now, but this was the first time he was able to access this part of his mind. Jiraiya had told him that he could talk to the fox. Jinchurikis have a sort of shared mind space with the beast that is sealed inside of him. As Naruto looked around confused, where exactly he was. He didn't know where to go, but he felt a pulling sensation as he made his way. Reminder, he was only 7 years old, and he was a bit afraid because the place was dark. The only light he saw was small. He followed the largest pipe, making his way. When he entered a large open room, as he came face to face with the large bars, Jiraiya has been teaching him the basics of Fuin Jutsu, so he knew that that was a seal on the bar. He made his way closer, seeing nothing and hearing nothing. A grumbling voice then spoke. So my jailer has finally decided to pay me a visit. As Naruto paused, when he saw something ruffling in the darkness. Show yourself, he said, his voice coming out weaker than he expected, because he was afraid. After all, seeing a mighty beast that was able to level mountains right in front of you like this, it would make every 7-year-old afraid. But he steeled himself. If your voice wasn't so cowering, perhaps you could make a lesser man fear. But I am beyond a man, and beyond anything that you humankind have when it comes towards being afraid. Because a large paw crashed down right in front of the bars. As the place tremor, Naruto fell as he dropped right on his butt. The moment he looked back up, he had to move back in fear. Sharp white teeth spreading on for a long while. Cold red wicked eyes stared down at him. Puny human, said the nine-tailed fox, his 9 tails swinging behind him deadly. As Naruto started back away, the fox looked at him like he was nothing but a small prey. Something that Naruto didn't like at all. He remembered what Jiraiya said to him, that he shouldn't be afraid, because the fox could not do him anything. He was sealed away. As long as he didn't tamper with the seal, he was fine. As Naruto got to his feet, the fox laughed. The laugh sounded rather dark. You think you can stand up to me, human? As he growled, as a hot breath washed over Naruto, blowing back his hair. Let me guess. You came here for my chakra, didn't you? No, said Naruto. The fox looked at him curiously. Then do tell. What do you want? I was hoping that we could work together. There was silence. Me? Work with someone like you? You must be joking. I will never work with someone as pathetic as you. Look, Erasenin told me that if we don't come to some agreement, it wouldn't be good for the both of us. I have nothing to gain from this, and I don't care about your well-being. Well, you're in my body, right? Erasenin told me that that seal over there, you were split in half, so you don't have your full power. The fox growled. Do you think that made me lesser? I can still squash you with just a flick of my tail and your entire village. Naruto raised his hand. I don't doubt your power, but if I die, you'll probably be dragged along with me as well. And seeing that your other half is sealed with my father, and my father is sealed away in the Shinigami, you won't exist anymore. The fox looked at him. And why do you think I care about that? I'm nothing but a walking disaster. Pure chaos. Do you think I care about anything? Well, I think you're lying, said Naruto. Anyone that can speak this way, they must have some sort of emotions, feelings. So, like me, you don't want to die either. So how about we work together? I told you, human, I won't work with someone as pathetic as you. Well, that kind of makes you look weak. The fox glared at him. What did you say to me? Well, think about it. Me being your container, I'm like a representation of your strength. So if I look weak and get defeated easily, people think that the nine-tailed fox is rather weak, and that the other tailed beasts are stronger than him. The fox slammed his paw down. Watch your mouth, human, you know nothing. Out of all my brethren, even at my half-self, I still can wipe the floor with each and every one of them. But they have control, said Naruto. Their bijous are helping them. But you're not helping me. So we can't work together, and people are gonna think that we're weak. So, this is just a better way for you to ask for my power. I don't want your power if it means that you don't want to give it to me. We both want to survive. Look, Jiraiya is starting to teach me Fuinjutsu. How about once I learn enough I can free you? At that, the fox narrowed his eyes as his face came closer to the bar. And why would you free me? Because I would hate to be locked away in a place without my freedom as well. So I know that it must be difficult to be in here all alone. And yeah, I'll just have to find a way so I don't die if I end up freeing you. That sounds good. I'll make it even better. I'll give you a promise. I won't turn 18 without freeing you, said Naruto. I will find a way by then. It's just a couple more years. 11 more years to be exact, and you will be free to do as you please. So, do we have a deal? And what if you go back on this deal, the fox asks. Then I'll let you take control and do whatever you want. But that's a promise, and I won't break my promise to you, said Naruto. The fox looked at him curiously as he narrowed his eyes. This human seemed different from the others. As a thought came to his mind, a red-haired woman standing in front of him. Look, we both don't like this situation, so just stay quiet. He growled. Another red-haired woman appeared. I'm keeping the other people safe, so you just stay in here and be quiet. It's 2 other containers. Alright, human, we can make that arrangement. But if you go back on your words, I'll devour you. Wait, really? Said Naruto. The fox looked at him as his canines were showing. End of flashback. As Naruto stood in front of the great beast now, he has been visiting a lot lately. What do you want now? Said the Kyuubi. Well, I was trying to figure out something. The fox released a long breath. I know the same about your power as you do. So stop asking me if I know this or that. Well, I was just thinking. Have you ever heard of a ability that someone could use to bring someone back from the dead, or even breathe life into someone? Someone of your caliber cannot perform something like that. You will be defying death itself. And you are not that powerful, so don't try it. But think about it. I can turn anything to anything. What if I can turn a tree into a human? What if you mess up and do something worse? Yeah, you're right, said Naruto. But I have to find out. I've been thinking I'll start small first, like an animal, a bird, horse or something like that. Do what you want. This doesn't concern me. You know I'm just here to talk, right? So you don't have to be alone. Did I tell you I need your company? As Naruto sighed, but he smiled. I'll come back with the results, he said, as he started to walk away before he faded out of the cell. The Kyuubi huffed. The human has been visiting him over and over to just tell him out his nonsense. Did he ask for his time or anything? He growled to himself once again as he closed his eyes, going into a long, deep slumber. Time skip. As Naruto was sitting in a chair, as he was looking at Tazuna. It was Tazuna's daughter. They had been here for 3 days now. Kakashi was busy training Hinata And Sasuke, well, his clone was. While the real Kakashi was out with her father, watching over him at the bridge. Considering that he wasn't that badly hurt after the fight with Zabuza, he was just watching over him. As Naruto was looking at Tazuna, she was looking through the pantry. He could see the look on her face. The people at Wave didn't have much food. Yes, they barely had enough for themselves. And now that she had to, well, feed all of them. Yes, she's going out of her way to make sure that all of them eat after all. They were protecting her father. As he saw the look on her face, it was like she would have to make some cutbacks for her own family if they, well, stay for the entire week. As she had already cooked them 2 wonderful meals. As Naruto decided it was time that he did something about it. As Tazuna went towards the sink to start to watch the vegetables, suddenly, her body went limp as she passed out. As Naruto caught her in his arms, he made his way upstairs with her as he placed her in bed. Time skip. Tazuna woke up, confused what happened. The last thing she remembered was she was in the kitchen. Did she pass out or something? She got out of bed. As she looked around, she was in her room. She wondered what happened. She was confused, but she realized she did not cook anything. And the team, they were going to be hungry. She quickly made her way downstairs. She had to get something cooking rather quickly, as she could already see that it was dark out. But she stopped as she smelled something wonderful. The aroma was just amazing. As she slowly made her way downstairs, that was where she saw Naruto. He was sitting at the table, his head down. And in front of him there were several platters, all of them covered. She was confused as she walked over and opened one of them to see some delicious teriyaki. She was more confused as she opened the others. It was food, a lot of it. She then saw bags on the ground. As she saw one of the cupboards open, she opened to see that her supplies had been double. And she didn't know what was going on. She saw Naruto sleeping. She had to ask as she came over and gently shake his shoulder. Naruto-san. Naruto-san, she said. Naruto got up slowly as he held on to his head. Are you okay? She asked. Yeah, I'm fine. Just a headache. What happened? She asked. Huh? Said Naruto looking at her. Well, the last thing I remember was that I was cooking while you were sitting there. Well, I was gonna cook. Did I pass out or something? Yeah, sorry about that. I did it. What? Why? She said, confused. Well, you look all tired, said Naruto. So I decided to help. But where did you get all of this? I mean, this is too much, she said. You and your team are already risking your life to protect my father. It's too much. Come on, said Naruto, it's fine. She was still confused though, as she had to ask, but where did you get it? As he placed a finger to his lips. That's a secret, he said. She was even more confused by that. But she saw him still hold on to his head. I'll get you something to drink, she said. Time skip. As everyone was at the table, Hinata was currently eating as she was glancing towards Naruto. She still hadn't forget what happened when he had faced off against Zabuza, but she still hadn't asked him yet. Sasuke had a few scratches, also did Hinata. Seems that the both of them had did some, well, intense training. The little boy there, known as Inari, Tasume's son, was currently looking at them, and also looking at the food, because he's never seen so much food like this before, and the kind of food as well. As Tazuna on the other hand, had asked her about it, as Naruto spoke, telling him that he was the one that went out of town and got this food. Tazuna knew that this was out of town, but he must be really fast to come back so quickly. Tazuna looked at Naruto suspiciously. You know, I heard that someone went around today, passed out a whole lot of food. Everyone just went out and sat at their doorstep. So much food for the hungry people. All the kids were given so much that they didn't have to fight each other for it. It was a lot. Kakashi glanced towards Naruto. Hinata got a gentle smile on her face. She knew it was him. That's quite the coincidence, said Naruto. As Nami looked at him, she wondered if he was the one that gave everyone food. That was rather surprising. It must have cost a lot. They were already risking their life and yet they were still doing more. Especially this one. It doesn't matter, a voice said, stopping everyone. As everyone turned towards the little boy that spoke. "You're all gonna be dead anyway soon enough." "Iniri," said Tsunami. "No, Mom, they should know." As everyone focused towards him. "Gato, he's gonna kill you all. It's better if you just run along and get the hell out of here. Because you're all gonna be dead if you stay. None of you can beat him. You can't win. So just stop this already and go home. Because you're just wasting your..." Naruto got up as he pushed back the chair. He walked around. Sasuke narrowed his eyes towards Naruto. As Iniri stood there, thinking that he was going to do something because of what he said. As Naruto bent down, he had a smile on his face. He reached out and placed a hand on Iniri's head. "You don't have to worry about that," he said, as he ruffled Iniri's head. "By the time all of this is over, everything should be getting back to normal, and you won't have to worry about Gato again. I'll make sure that your hope is replenished." He then started to walk away. "Where are you going, Naruto?" asked Kakashi. "Oh, there's something I wanted to do," said Naruto. "Kinda forgot about it. I might end up working through the entire night. See you guys tomorrow," he said, as he exited. Iniri stood there. He didn't know what it was, but there was just this strange warmth coming from that boy. Something that he can't really explain. Time skip. As Naruto sat down inside the forest, a few miles away from the house, in front of him was a rather large tree trunk. He placed his hand on it. As he closed his eyes, the purple aura started to surround his hand. As he think about what he wanted, the tree trunk started to twist and break apart, the molecules twisting and bending and turning into something entirely different. When the light finally died down, Naruto panted as he felt a wave of exhaustion wash over him. This was completely different from making something that wasn't alive. As he took a deep breath, as he released it, lying there was a rabbit. A rabbit. Pure white fur. It looked exactly like snow. But the thing wasn't moving at all. As Naruto lowered himself and touched it, it was cold. As he felt no heartbeat. There was nothing. He did not understand. He could create the physical body, but yet he couldn't bring it alive. And it took so much out of him. What was he doing wrong? Why couldn't he give something life? As he wondered if that was out of his ability. And it looked quite sad now to see the rabbit just lying there. He placed his hand on it, and he started to change back into the tree trunk. Before he sighed, he held out his hand. As a large rock to the side started to shake, it slowly lifted itself out of the ground before falling back down. That was his new ability, telekinesis. But it was rather hard. Powerful because he could move anything with his mind. But it was rather hard to control. Well, he will just have to work on it. He lied down. He couldn't believe how much the creation of the rabbit took out of him. As he released a breath and lied down, he might as well get some sleep out here. As he ended up falling asleep. The next morning, a girl made her way. As she came out in the clearing in a basket, she was wearing a pink dress, black hair, black eyes. She was looking around for some herbs. This was none other than the hunter named, well, without her disguise, Haku. Making her way, Zabuza was in really bad shape. She had managed to get him out of the worst of it, but that small blonde kid had really done a number on him with those sword stabs. After all, he almost died. She was panicking because he was losing so much blood. Luckily, she had got him back, and he was recovering at the moment, but she still needs some herbs to help him come along quickly. She looked around until she saw something that surprised her. That same blonde kid was sleeping over there, and he was alone. She looked around. There was no one else here. It would be so easy to end his life right now. So Zabuza-sama wouldn't have to worry about anything else. She made her way closer and closer. It would be so easy to end this right here and right now. As she started to lower herself towards him, but she just could not. It happened all in a second. That was why she was unable to react. Her hand was grabbed as she was flipped over and placed on the ground. As something was placed on her back, she instantly felt weak. Like she could barely move. She couldn't feel it. She couldn't feel her chakra. As she blinked in confusion, What just happened? She thought herself in confusion, as she still couldn't believe what just happened. You should know that your chakra is sealed off, said Naruto. As Haku couldn't believe it, he caught her. But why? He couldn't have known. May I ask why you're doing this? Haku asks. Don't play dumb with me. You should know, I'm quite the censor. I could tell that you were the one that helped Zabuza. Her body stiffened a bit. I don't know what you're talking about, she said. As Naruto simply laughed a bit. You can't trick my senses, he said. Haku dropped her head in shame. It was all over. She failed him. Her one job, to protect Zabuza-sama, to keep him out of harm's way, to be his tool, to be his servant, and she failed. So quickly, she didn't even have time to react. She couldn't believe it. She failed, the only person that cared about her, the only person that watched over her, the only person that was there. She failed him. How could she live with herself now? Well, she supposed that her life was over. But she knew how twisted and corrupt the world is. Some of these shinobis, catching someone like her, she knew it was going to be bad. She had to at least ask. May I ask that you kill me quickly, without raping me, she said. As she felt him twist a bit. Why would you? He paused. Don't bother. I know that many people in this world are quite corrupted, but I'm not like that, he said. I'm confused though. You weren't trying to kill me, even though I tried to kill Zabuza. She was surprised. How would he know that? My sensory ability is different from most. I can tell that you had no ill intent. You were trying to fake it, but you're different. Different from most missing names. His eyes turned purple, and there was a golden glow around Haku. Naruto could see people that were tainted in blood. People that was corrupt and evil. But she hadn't hurt a single person in her life. Might have subdued them, but she never killed before. She was pure. What is someone like you doing in Zabuza? You're pure. Haku was confused by his words. How would he know something like that, and why would he say that? As Naruto then blinked. What's this? Don't touch that, she said. As Naruto was looking at her neck, there was already a seal on it. As he looked at the seal carefully, this is a memory seal. Yes, please don't touch it, she said. I was told never to tamper with it. By who? Said Naruto. As he already guessed. You know that this is sealing away some of your memories, right? It doesn't matter. It was placed there for my own good. Your own good? So don't you want to know what was sealed away from you? No. I must ask, what are your intentions with me? She felt the paper move from her back, and her chakra returned to her. He got to his feet as he backed away. She slowly picked herself up, confused. You're releasing me? Look, I don't know how you end up with Zabuza or why you're working for him, but I can tell. You're kind. You're different. You haven't shed a single blood. And I don't know what's up with that memory seal, but it wouldn't be good for anyone to be placed with a memory seal for your memory to be sealed away. But I can't, she said. Do you have anyone that is precious to you? She asked. Yeah, he said. Well, then you understand. When your precious person tells you to do something, you do it no matter what. What's your name? Said Naruto. Haku. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. Look, Haku, my team is gonna protect Tazuna. Is there any way that I can make you and Zabuza offer to just leave? She looked down. It doesn't matter what kind of offer it is. He won't let his reputation go down like that. To be known as the one that took a job and run out on it. People wouldn't hire him anymore. Why do you even care? She asked. Most ninjas would have killed me there and then, but you released me. Isn't that a mistake on your part? Look, I'm not gonna kill someone like you, especially who hasn't shed a single blood in her life. How do you know that? She asks. He simply shrugged. A ninja always have their secrets, he said. And by the way, you're beautiful. She felt her cheeks get a bit hot. And I can't live with myself to kill someone as beautiful as you, he said. So, is there any way that you can stop this? To find a way to live with Zabuza. To make sure you live. I'm sorry, Naruto, she said. He was already assuming that he would be the one that would be killing them. But judging from what she saw, he was powerful. And how quick he took her out of commission like it was nothing. In a different life, we might have been friends, Haku said. But I suppose this is not that life. Perhaps, said Naruto. Or we might have even been lovers. She covered her mouth a bit. You're quite bashful, aren't you? Well, it's just my personality, he told her. As he released a long sigh. You are a caring, nice person, Naruto. And I'm very sorry, she said. But I have to go. As she started to walk away, she stopped and turned back to look at him. I'm sorry. I'm sorry as well, he said. As the both of them knew if they met on the battlefield again, they will have to fight. He gave her the courtesy of leaving. She will also give him that courtesy when they were on the battlefield. Time skipped. Hinata was currently meditating, calming her nerves as she felt the water chakra rush through her body. It was flowing like a stream of exercise that Kakashi taught her. She felt someone approaching as she slowly opened her eyes. Big brother, she said. As Naruto sat down and smiled. What happened, he said. She was confused. What are you talking about? You're acting different. Different? How? Ever since I faced off against Zabuza, you've been acting strange. So tell me, what happened? You know you don't have to lie to me, right? Me, a foul person. She lowered her head. You noticed that, huh? Did something? Naruto asked. No, it's not you. It's just, I was confused and a bit scared. Of me? He asked. She looked down. What I saw when you were facing off against Zabuza. I had looked at you with my Byakugan. And I saw this strange purple aura that was at the same time calm but dominating. And then there was this red one that was vicious. It scared me. I know that you would never lie to me. Or you would never keep something away from me. So whatever it is, it must be rather private. And I would never force you to tell me anything, she said. But I was just, confused. And not having answers can make you think a lot. Naruto came close as he placed both hands on her shoulders. Look, it's nothing bad, he said. And you know I would never lie to you. But it's something I just can't tell you yet. But I will tell you soon enough. She nodded. I understand, she said. I know that you're not the person to lie to me. You're one of the few people that doesn't. As she gave him a beautiful smile. No, that's my girl, he said, as he pinched her cheek. As she blushed a bit. Come on, stop it, she said. She slapped away his hand, playfully. As she felt happy once again. Her mind was just trying to understand what had happened to him. And she wanted to know if he was okay, but she didn't want to push him to tell her anything if he didn't want to. As Naruto made his way to where Sasuke was, as he arrived to see several trees in the forest burn, there had black scorch marks on them. As Naruto whistled, what the hell did the trees ever do to you? He asked as he looked around. As Sasuke glanced towards him, he smirked a bit. Fight me, he said. As Naruto blinked, not even a hey Naruto, just fight me? Fight me, Sasuke said. I want to see how I stack up against you now. As Naruto merely smiled. Alright, fine, he said. But Tsunami's cooking dinner for us, so we might as well do this quickly. Sasuke dropped into his fighting stance. As Naruto dropped into his fighting stance as well. He then motioned for Sasuke to come. Time skip. Kakashi, Hinata, and Sasuke were on the bridge. Kakashi knew that Naruto was the one that was going around giving people food, because the entire wave over the past week has been given food. Most of them, their stomach was filled to the point where they can barely walk, as they haven't eaten in the longest time. And that gave him a headache. Like this morning, he had a rather nasty headache, as the entire village had been populated with food right now. And Kakashi decided to let him stay in and sleep. It was okay with the two of them, as they were watching over Tazuna. Tazuna was making his way towards the bridge along with them, when suddenly he paused. Before rushing over, Omi, he said, as he shot the man that was lying down on the bridge. Omi, The man known as Omi, looking to be the same age as Tazuna, slowly opened his eyes. Tazuna, they're here, he said, as he passed back out. Suddenly, a thick mist came on the bridge. Kakashi quickly created 2 clones that took up the bodies of the bridge builders and brought them back towards the mainland. Ah, Kakashi, you're finally here, said a voice in the mist. Kakashi wastes no time as he lifted up his headband. As he got himself ready. Where's that blonde brat of yours? Haku didn't tell Zabuza anything about Naruto, as Haku appeared beside Zabuza as well. Kakashi narrowed his eyes towards the masked ninja. I want to pay him back for what he did. I'm afraid he's not here at the moment. Well then, that's fine. I'll take care of you, then I'll go find him and pay him a good visit. I won't let you hurt Naruto-kun. Hinata says she stepped forward. As Zabuza glanced towards her, Haku, deal with him. One of Kakashi's clones came by as he grabbed onto Tazuna and started to bring him off the bridge as well. Don't worry, we'll go after him once this is all done. For now, just take care of those 2. As Kakashi turned, he looked towards Sasuke and Hinata. The both of them gave him a nod. As Sasuke's eyes activated, his one totem Sharingan glancing towards the masked ninja. Meanwhile, at the house, Tsunami was outside. Every time they went out to fix the bridge, she was always worried. But today she had a rather bad feeling, but she shrugged it off as her being paranoid. That was when she heard laughter from behind her. As she turned, she's quite the looker, isn't she? 2 men were currently approaching her. Both of them had a katana at their waists. It's a shame that we're gonna have to use her as a hostage. I wonder when this is all over, could we keep her? One of them said. Well, you're gonna have to ask the boss about that. But he has nothing to do with her, so I bet. Yes, we can keep her. You there, come with us. Unless you want to die, he said, getting straight to it. She started to back away. That was when Inieri came around the corner. Mama, he paused. Look, a little brat. Who are you? He said. Quiet your voice, kid. We're not here for you. He glanced towards his mother. Mom, stay back, he said. I won't let you hurt my mom. We're gonna do more than hurt her, kid. As one of them put on a devilish grin, Tsunami knew what he was implying. As the first one stepped forward, Inieri run forward. I won't let you hurt her, he said as he tightened his fist. Inieri, no! Tsunami screamed out as she started to rush after her son. The second one pulled out his blade. Inieri's eyes went wide when he saw them. As the blade came down on him, he had to protect his mother as he opened up his arms. Mom, run! He screamed. Cling! Inieri paused. He heard the blade hit something, but he didn't feel any pain. As he slowly opened his eye, as he saw someone smile at him. That was quite brave, but also stupid. I mean, you didn't even have a weapon, a kunai or anything. As Naruto was looking at Inieri, while his hand was behind him, blocking the blade that had threatened to slice Inieri in half. Naruto-san, Inieri said, as Naruto reached out and patted the boy on his head. Don't worry, I'll take care of this now, okay? As Inieri had a big smile on his face, as Naruto scooped the boy up with one arm, as he simply pulled his blade away from the bandit and started to walk over. And here's your son, said Naruto as he handed Inieri over to Tsunami. Tsunami grabbed her son and pulled him in a tight hug. Don't do something as stupid as that again, she said. As Naruto smiled, she watched the scene. The first bandit didn't know who this brat was, but he was surely stupid to turn his back towards him as the man came rushing forward. Cling! Without looking, Naruto blocked his blade again. You two might want to go inside the house, said Naruto. Thank you, said Tsunami, still clutching onto her son for dear life. As she rushed inside and closed the door behind her. As Naruto sighed, as he slowly stepped forward, coming out of the man's sword grasp. Look, brat, if you know what, shut your mouth, said Naruto, his voice becoming venomous. I heard what you said. How dare you imply something like that to her? You know, if there's one thing I hate in this world, it's rapists. To harm a beautiful, elegant, female body in that way. To force her. That is something I can't forgive. And people like you don't deserve to live. As Naruto thought about something, he would do it the other way around. So with that, he moved forward. Both of them were speechless when their blades were severed as they tried to block his attack, but he simply slid through their blades. With one single blade, he took out the two of them in seconds. Both men started to shake as he appeared behind them and slammed his hand on their shoulders. As a purple aura surrounded their body. What's going on? The man said as his mouth was gone. The other one, two eyes suddenly disappear as their bodies started to twist and turn. As their bodies started to shrink down into something. Once he was done, there was two containers there. The two men that he transformed. Naruto panted a bit. It worked. He never actually did this on humans before. Never seen the reason. But rapists like this didn't deserve to live. He picked up the two containers. Inside was nothing but fish food. As he made his way towards where the edge of the dock was and tossed it in the water, all the fish came out rather quickly as they started to devour the food. He then placed his hands together. Suddenly, 4 clones spring into life. Protect them. The clones nod as he shoot off. Meanwhile on the bridge, Hinata and Haku and Sasuke were currently inside the ice dome. Sasuke looked around. Do you have a plan? As the both of them had a few needles in them. Nothing too severe. Yeah. One, said Hinata. She glanced around as well. I need you to buy me some time though. I'm afraid it's over, Haku said. I have to help my master. I do apologize. Sasuke nodded towards Hinata. Do what you have to do. He went through Hansen and Haku launched a barrage of needles. Fire style. Fire stream, he says. He blew out a D rank fire style from his mouth. He was able to use it to spin upwards, tilting his head upwards, to burn all of the ice needles away. Hinata eyes scanned over the dome. She saw it right there as she shot forward. Her hands got coated in chakra as she struck. She then moved and strike once again as she strike and she strike and she strike. Suddenly, Haku's eyes went wide as she came out of one of her mirrors. As the others broke apart instantly, Haku was confused as Hinata appeared behind her, but Haku was fast enough to move. What did you do? I saw the chakra system running your attack. I just cancelled it out. So no more hiding, said Sasuke as he tossed 3 kunais. Haku blocked each of them with a senbon needle. As Sasuke went through Hansen, took in another deep breath. As he blew out a massive stream of fire, but with intense speed, Haku dodged. Suddenly, she had to move as several water bullets slammed on the bridge. They were coming fast as one of them struck her in the side. She moved as another one struck her in the mask and braked it. She jumped back, her mask fell down to the ground. The two of them were working perfect together. Both Hinata and Sasuke nodded as they shot forward as they engaged in taijutsu. Haku tried to block, but she was foolish enough to believe that she could face off against Hyuga in close quarter combat. Hinata hit her arm one time and it was all over. As Sasuke hit her next arm, Hinata then went in like a blur as she started to strike Haku all over her body. Haku cried in pain as she was blown back by the final hit. As her body was tossed through the air, Zabuza-sama, I'm sorry. But she was caught right into a pair of arms. She groaned in pain as she slowly lifted her head. Naruto-kun, said Hinata, happy to see him here. Took you long enough, said Sasuke. Sorry about that, said Naruto, as he looked at the girl in his arms. Haku, I told you that. Naruto paused as his hand pressed on the seal on her neck by accident. His eyes turned purple. Hinata and Sasuke had to move back as a strange purple aura exploded from his body. What's going on, said Sasuke. I don't know, Hinata said. Meanwhile, Naruto found himself in a strange, confused place. Where was he? He was in a house. That was the confusing part about it, as he did not understand what was going on. He saw a young girl. She was probably 6, 7, 8 years old, in those age range. What's going on, said a voice. He turned to his left. Haku was standing there. Haku? Naruto, what did you do? I have no idea, said Naruto. Haku started to cry. He was confused as she turned her head towards the scene in front of her. What's going on? That's me. It's the day when it all happened, she said. Suddenly, the door burst open. As Naruto saw the young Haku hid behind her mother. Why didn't you tell me? A man came in, looking to be her father. You are a poison to this village, and I must end you. The man seemed angry as he started to attack the mother. She pleaded and begged with him, but he cut her down without a second thought. Haku stood there, the smaller one shaking, while the older Haku cried, not knowing why she had to relive this memory. But then suddenly, Naruto's hand flared out of his control as the memory cracked. But it was still the same memory. It was then another man stepped inside. Who are you? It was the same man. The younger Haku looked confused with tears in her eyes. Father? The first man that had pretended to be her father suddenly dropped the jutsu. The older Haku blinked in confusion as the man unsealed a large blade and decapitated her father right in front of her. The older Haku couldn't understand. It was Zabuza. But why are you doing this? She said as she looked towards Naruto. Why are you conjuring up these lies? I'm not doing this. The younger Haku screamed as ice erupted from the ground. Zabuza was fast enough to block it, but one of the ice particles grazed into his arm as he winced a bit. He moved forward and chopped the girl in her neck. As he raised his blade to end her life, but he paused. He then picked her up and threw her on his shoulder. Stop this! Stop this, Haku said. She raised her hand, but nothing came. The scene then changed once again, and Zabuza made his way. What the hell is going on? A voice said. Haku was surprised it was the Mizukage. As the man was currently sitting in his office, Zabuza was standing there with a younger Haku on his shoulder. I told you to kill all of them. What's this? This girl. She's unique. She's already tapped into her bloodline and was able to use it quite well. I want to use her as a tool. Someone to be out there and watch my back as well. Zabuza, you're strong enough, you don't need an assistant. That's not the point. I did the job for you. I killed countless of people already. I was the main reason why we got rid of most of the bloodlines with my silent killing technique. And you're saying that I can't have this one thing? Fine. But make sure you keep her in line, because if she does, I'll kill her, no matter what you think. Zabuza grunted. What was that? Nothing, Mizukage-sama, said Zabuza. I need your help. A memory seal. She saw my face. I need her to be devoted to me. After all, you need a tool to think that you're the most important things in your life. I have something better. You remember the Yara clan. Wait, you mean those knockoff for the Yamanaka? Well, they're still strong enough to implant members in your head. So you can make this girl believe what you want her to believe. Well, we'll still have to seal her other members away and place a new one. That's good enough. The member then changed again, as it shows Zabuza arguing with the Mizukage. It then changed again to show Zabuza trying to kill the Mizukage, as they had fallen out and he tried to assassinate him before fleeing. Haku then saw herself, her younger self, sitting there in the cold. It was the same night when she met Zabuza-sama. But she met him before? Everything then broke as they were on the bridge once again. Haku got to her feet. What the hell was that? Said Sasuke. Hinata looked over. Naruto-kun, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Tears are streaming down Haku's face as she ran. Sasuke moved. No, said Naruto. As Sasuke didn't stop her. What's going on? Sasuke asked. Meanwhile, both Kakashi and Zabuza was clashing as the both of them broke away. Zabuza-sama. As Zabuza glanced over. Haku. Are you done with those fools already? Go take care of the bridge builder. I'll finish Hatake right here and now. But she did not move. I remember. But please tell me that is fake. I have these new members in my head. What are you going on about, Haku? My parents... What's going on, she said. As he looked at her. Haku, did you mess with the seal? Haku looked at him as Zabuza looked back at her. How did she remove the implanted memories, he wondered to himself. Please tell me that it's all fake, Zabuza-sama. Please tell me that he forced these memories on me. Please tell me that he's trying to trick me. Please say something. Please, she begged as she dropped to her knees, tears pooling from her eyes. Zabuza looked at her, not saying anything. Kakashi was confused, but he wondered where was the... He saw them landed, the three of them. As he released a sigh, he thought for a moment there that she had taken care of them. He saw that Naruto was here as well now. He was going to wrap it up very soon. Zabuza-sama, say something. I beg you, she said, tears pooling down her face. As she saw, he was not saying a single word. As Naruto stood there, he heard another voice in his head. Something about mind alteration, something like that. If he would have thought about it, he would have noticed that Haku wasn't there for the parts, and she was unconscious, and yet he was able to see Zabuza's memories. Despite, it was Haku that he touched, but he wasn't focused on that at the moment. Hinata felt something cold on her arm. As she turned, there was a white mist coming from Naruto's mouth. You heartless, wicked, corrupted bastard! The bridge started to crack underneath his feet as Naruto stepped forward. Kakashi, stay out of this. As Naruto was walking, his eyes were flickering between red and purple. I made this guy a promise, and I intend to deliver on it. As Naruto's body was trembling as he was walking, as the water started to bubble, like something hot was placed in it. Purple flames were licking off of Naruto's skin as the purple aura became more pronounced and wild. The bridge started to crack even more. Zabuza gripped onto his blade. I'm gonna kill you, said Naruto. But guys, be in steps right here. If you want the next part, so not do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification stay posted. But for now, see you guys soon. Peace.